All right, you're looking at what's going on in Greece right now. As we said, largely, shall we say, contained in a certain sense. I mean, you haven't seen any strong violence tonight, but this in light of the package, the austerity package, which just passed. We'll get more from Carl Quintanilla in a couple of moments. In the meantime, though, in the U.S. markets, financials causing another leg down, lows of the session. Let's get to Scott Wapner at the big board. Scott, would you say it really is financials? What just happened to send us another leg lower?
Well, Erin, it's almost across the board, but certainly when financials took a turn for the worse, the overall market took another leg lower. But you could point to discretionary names today, given the pretty negative news we had from the nation's retailers in those April same-store sales results. Obviously, what's happening over in Europe is impacting us, and I'm going to bring in Peter Costa here. As, Peter, we look at this market here taking a leg down here, almost down 250 on the Dow. Is this a direct result of what's happening over in Europe, or is it more a cause and effect of what the relationship between the euro and the dollar is doing? If the dollar has strengthened today, the market has moved lower.
Well, you got to look at it. I mean, to start, I think it had the relationship between the euro and the dollar started it. But now you have, Athens is turning into a boiling, it's a cauldron of protest and anger. And I think that's going to spill over, or at least it looks like it could spill over to other countries, too. So that's what the market's reacting to.
You're trading on that news? I mean, what's driving the market minute to minute here?
Well, minute to minute is a lot of programs kicking in, because once these programs start hitting certain price points, they have to sell.
Okay, you're talking technical levels.
Technical levels, yes.
Point, and Aaron, I know I've been making this point to you on the computer that 1151 was a level that a lot of guys down here were talking about. We breached that on the S&P. Obviously, it's from a closing standpoint that makes the biggest difference. But once you break through that, Peter, you're talking several other legs to the downside. Tell me a little bit about how we're watching those technical levels.
Well, the technical levels, I mean, you got to watch the next level. To me, is around 1125 on the S&P. It breaks through that and it closes below that. Then, tomorrow could be a very scary day. You're looking at the dollar and the euro. I think that's a big driving force right now. The dollar's up big. I mean, oil is down, and you're also looking at the VIXs. We're up 5.5, almost 6 points on the VIX. That's huge.
What's interesting to me is that all of this news out of Europe is overshadowing some of the positive economic news. Despite the fact that April was a bit disappointing, it was still respectable from a retail sales standpoint. It seems to be overshadowing everything. I don't hear a single guy, or gal for that matter, on this floor talking about tomorrow's jobs report. And that really is, at least it was going to be important, Peter.
I'll tell you, the jobs report will be very important.
Scott, I think,
but, everything is going to be
Peter, I'm going to have to interrupt you. Let's go back to Aaron. So everyone can see what's going on the screen in front of you. These are live pictures. This is not tape. This is not file footage. This is live what's happening in Athens right now. We have a crew there. Carl Quintanilla is there reporting. And as he gets more information and can talk to us, he will. You can see the riot police actually hitting people with batons right there. You had seen a few moments ago the riot police were arrayed on one side and the rioters on the other. But you can see some conflict. We'll see what happens here. But we are keeping a close eye on this. Again, to give you the context, which is important, the Greek parliament voted a majority vote in favor of the $30 billion in austerity cuts, unclear as to whether those are binding or not. So we're going to keep watching these pictures and keep them up for you. Again, Carl Quintanilla is there on the ground with our producer, Jason Gewert. So as they get more, they'll tell you. But you can see their camera angle is looking straight down on this. In the meantime, you've got U.S. stocks by far at the lowest levels of the session. We were down 222 as Scott started speaking. Now down about 275 points for the Dow. Let's get to Matt Nesto. Matt, what names are most responsible?
Well, Aaron, the financial sector is continuing to be the biggest single drag on the S&P 500. All 10 sectors are down, and at last check, 23 of 24 industry groups were lower. What originally brought me up to the breaking news desk was the fact that we breached the second key technical moving average in 2 days. The 100-day moving average went by the wayside for the S&P 500, 1139. You can see now in the S&P 500 we are clearly below that level now. The 50-day got taken out yesterday. That puts the 200-day moving average in our sights. It's at 1095. That's about 3.4% below where we are right now. We, of course, have fallen 6 out of the past 9 days, about a 6% give back since the high water close in the short term on April 23rd. If you take a look at the low from February 5th, that's 1044 for the S&P 500. That's a further 8% down. If we added that and took out that low or tested that low, that would be somewhere in the neighborhood of a 15% correction from that high close, that 18-month high that we had on April 23rd. But if we take a look at some of the weakness in the marketplace, it is growing here today, and certainly the live pictures are just part of the story. Greece is certainly on the minds of investors.